Ladies and gentlemen, if you will please divert your attention to the Grom on the lift that I just scored yesterday on Marketplace. You will notice there's something missing here. Something right around here and there-ish. And the reason for that is I was shopping around for exhaust that had the O2 bung and came across these. I've not opened yet. So let's get her. Actually came this morning. I was expecting to sit around all day waiting for it to show up. And it was at my house by like 9 o'clock. Oh, fancy. So, first thing you'll notice, 1, 2. It is a dual high mount exhaust. Nothing hiding in any of these. You always take this stuff apart and then you stick it somewhere and you're like, I'm going to use that for something someday. Like, yeah, but then you don't. But maybe I will. Stickers. Holy friggin' stickers. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stickers. A couple discrepancies. First, it said it was special order and it would take 1 to 2 weeks to ship, and then whatever shipping time, I'm assuming. So it was supposed to come May 22nd, which was still before my birthday, so it was still perfect. And then I got an update saying it shipped and it would be here May 13th, which is today. I did not complain, but I mean, I went through getting bummed. What is the point? I mean, maybe garage art. I can hang it somewhere. Anyway, I already went through the depression of thinking I was waiting that long. And 2, everything on it said made in Italy, made in Italy. And then I see made in Poland. Not that I have anything against the Polish. It's just that I thought it was going to be made in Italy. Oh man. Do the springs have bushings on them that stay there, or is that just for shipping? Instructions, I'll get to them eventually. But the important thing is right here. Is there a plug for it? Is that a, yeah. I have the A-Racer Mini X. I have not bought the AFI or AF. Oh yeah, and it does come with a puller. I was gonna say I don't have one, but I could make one. So I don't have that yet. Oh, more stickers. But that's all that's left until I buy the, or I already bought the 149 kit. And then I saw now Koso has a 150 kit, but I didn't find a single review anywhere about it. Now, these come in 3 versions. All the initial piping is the same. The only difference is in the mufflers themselves. If you notice on my bike, I am not one about being flashy. I don't have it covered in red or blue anodized nonsense. Like my sliders came with them, but I opted for the black. Same with my exhaust slider. I'm not going to need anymore because this is going to sit up here. I was a little upset because 2 of these had to be anodized. So I hit them up there. And then the adjuster on my levers. So, you know, I went with black everything when there is a version in big, dopey, flashy. Anyway, back to my point. Comes in the stainless, and then they have what they call their black version, where just this center section is black, probably just painted or something, powder coated, high temp something or other. And then the carbon fiber version. Everything is exactly the same between all of them except for that color, and it jumps up like $20 or so to the black version, which if you scratch it, you're just going to see shiny underneath. And then the carbon fiber version. And I've never been a carbon fiber simp. I don't know, it's just, it wasn't anything that impressed me. Some people go like, when they hear carbon fiber. And the other thing is, step up to the black, their logo gets bigger. It looks more like that on there. And then the carbon fiber, it's like even bigger. So I like subtle. So that's why I went with the cheaper one. Not a price issue, just I actually like the looks of the cheaper better. Give me a second. I'm going to go over the instructions. I'm going to check my exhaust gasket. I had a Zoom low mount before, which is on my wall over here. And honestly, I had a Zoom Brute before. That was nothing but problems. The muffler underneath the motor, the guts of it fell out like repeatedly. And then they told me, we can't send you a new one because we discontinued it, but we can give you $20 off the low mount. And I was like, whatever, fine. And that was like a year and a half ago, and they still make and sell the Brute. So that made me not happy with Zoom. But honestly, this guy here, it looked good, it sounded good, it worked good. It's all stainless, it's durable. It was, I think now they're like $230, $240. I actually paid $250 with, and then so much percent off. But for the cheaper, you know, don't get the $100 Amazon exhaust. It's garbage. What you want to look for when you're looking at lesser expensive exhausts, get one with a bracket. A bracket attached to the muffler. Bracket attached to the muffler. If it has that stupid paper thin stainless strap, and it's just put your pipe on and strap this wherever it works, they break. They break all the time. I just listed this on Marketplace for $100. Hopefully help somebody out. Anyway, just look to make sure. I mean, even some of the Yoshi stuff, which I think is insanely overpriced. Oh yeah, price point. The Yoshi Dual was like $1,600 something. I get this doesn't have the loop. I didn't care for the loop anyway. But this came in directly from the LeoVince. Don't say LeoVince, or you'll run into an Italian guy that'll kick you in your meatballs. Just under 500. So for regular Zoom loop is up to 700 now. And for a low mount, I'm gonna have to figure out some sort of protection once I get it up. I mean, I might just leave this one on. This one was good for when it was the low mount. but I'll figure something out for up here. I mean, I might just take this one, and you'll notice you do lose your turn signals. I had, it's over here, I had made my own bar with the license plate mount and everything that was bolted on there. I took that off. I had turn signals on there. They were bright as balls, if your balls are bright. I took it off because that would be sort of in the way of where it's going to mount. So I'll figure out turn signals and the license plate later. But yeah, I think I covered all the little odds and ends I was going to say. Let me take a few more sips of coffee. I'm going to check out my exhaust gasket, see if I need to change that or not, and some other little odds and ends, and be right back. Down to the parts laid out. Your header pipe, and your split, and your two, and then here's your hardware. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but they even have their logo on the rubber spring covers. I don't know what it, I know what most of it is, but I don't know what these are yet. Didn't read the instructions. The plug also comes with a washer, which is nice. Touch on anti-seize real quick. Half the people are going to say you have to use it on stuff that gets hot. Other half is going to say never use it. Third half is going to bitch and moan about what kind you use. And then the fourth half is going to say use it if you want to. But apparently I am now an official card holder. I mean, this is thicker than most of my credit cards. They're very thorough. Very. I mean, there's a whole book just on the warranty stuff. And, I mean, a lot of pages are just different languages. But, quality-wise, this is the highest I've ever dealt with. Really nice stuff so far. Yeah, let me get reading, and then I'm gonna start doing some putting. Still haven't read any instructions yet, because I don't really think I need to. Step one, easy enough. Loosely attach and put the plug in there. It comes with this. At first I thought it was gonna be a bear to try to line this up, but it seems when you have everything up, you don't have to try to make the bracket work with that. That'll sit up there, and this attaches the two together, which is pretty cool. Instead of having to try to fight. The springs are pretty awesome. Whatever's underneath there, they swivel independent of each other, so you don't have to fight with getting those on the wrong way, or then when it's on, having the spring rubbing against your exhaust. Really nice, best exhaust springs I've ever seen so far. Thought I was gonna have to actually read something to figure out which pipe goes where, but the spring mount just sort of tells you you can't put the wrong one in the wrong place. It's a single attachment point on the splitter, and then each pipe. I thought it was going to be a bear getting them on, but it's actually pretty easy. You just hook. I mean, it's harder with one hand, but you hook the top one on and then get your puller on the bottom and just yeet it right onto there. So far, pretty simple. Like I said before, the only thing I might have to read is these. Maybe it's some fancy Italian, oh, probably That's probably how that works. That goes through there. And then this is between the frame and the muffler. Instructions are for chumps. All right, I did read the instructions just to make sure. And yeah, that goes on just like I suspected. Don't worry, yours isn't gonna be all cut out like this unless you wanted to use your plasma cutter and made your own bar thing like I did. So there's little plastic plugs in there that'll pop out, and they cover a threaded nut type thing in your frame. So these are actually recessed a little, so you just have to pull the plug out, and then that'll sit nice and flush on your trim that isn't gutted like mine. But I'm gonna get that loosely attached, pop my spring on here, and then I'm gonna do the other side same way. It's easy peasy. You just slide on Mr. Muffler. Two hands is easier. And then put your spacer in, bolt that up, whack that spring on, and then move to that this little bracey brace down here. With those mounted up, I still gotta pull my plate off my homemade thing that I made. Nothing's tight yet, but it still looks like I should be able to use my cheap tail tidy, because it drops and it's like pivotable and not run into any plate issues. Just got to figure out turn signals then. All right, with the back mounted up, the front one will take the nut and bolt that comes supplied with it, and then this rear hole lines up with threaded mamma jamma on your frame. Again, loosely. And then start tightening from the front. Hit that, and then hit your muffler mounts, and you are done. Reason I was saying don't tighten anything in the back first, as I was tightening down this right one. Don't over tighten them. You're going into aluminum. Don't want to break a stud, because then you're gonna have a bad day. So I was tightening this one, it went poop, and I saw everything shift all the way up to the muffler. So don't tighten anything in the back. Start with everything loose, and then start at your front and work back. So I got that tight. I'm gonna move to this guy, which is Allen head, and then I'm gonna get them jammies. Okay, everything tightened up. Now, I know you're excited. I'm excited too, but be patient. Think. Do not skip this step. I've seen people with their exhaust with nice permanently burn-in fingerprints and stuff all over it. So get you some isopropyl. The higher the better. Wipe everything down, make sure it's all clean before you get that nice and hot and permanent FBI fingerprints on everything. Well, here we are, kittens. Everything's installed, cleaned up. Maybe I'll let her down for a more realistic sound. I'm gonna pull the seat off anyway for when I bonk. That looks good. I cannot lie. I chopped down that cherry tree. All right, first start. Hopefully I didn't screw anything up. So it's good to start it up, get it warm, and then gently go over everything. We'll pull up a top job. Or anything, but my tail tidy was just this cheap Amazon setup. You can, you know, adjust where it goes. It comes with a LED license plate light. It was super cheap, worked awesome. When you take your big whale tail off, there's these two bolts here that are part of holding it on. If I remember, it's been 3 years, but you end up just bolting that. Those are the bottom, that one and that one. I'll have to do some adjusting, but I think I can make it work. Give me a moment, need both my hands. I think I'm wrong. Now, next is a stiffer shock, because when I had my little bar set up and my homemade, that's why my license plate's so janky. I'm 230, so I was bottoming out on my plate a little bit, but I mean, moved all the way out. I'm gonna be kinda, and I'm past the mounting point. Ugh, that's ugly. But I can't go down any further. Ugh. Gotta do some figuring, kids. Wheel. I can't really get this to work in a way that's gonna put it somewhere that's not gonna smash off my tire. So do this at your own risk, but I'm gonna try to space these out enough to see if I can sneak this up underneath it, because I don't want it behind it. I mean, that would look crappy. I'd like it tucked up in there. So give me a minute, we'll see if I break anything. Should be plenty of room. When you unbolt it, you know, you got swivel room in here without having to try to bend or put any pressure on anything. So wish me luck. I'm gonna head to the hardware store and see if they have any type of aluminum spacer so I don't have to do it a janky way. Maybe some slightly longer of the bolts so I also don't do it a janky way. May not work, but it might. Hardware store did not have the hex head bolts in metric longer than the stock ones. So I got these and little stainless washers. And I thought, a little uglier, but it'd work. And on the way back, I thought to myself, if I just use the original bolt, get rid of this little cap thingy that it sits inside, and use a little stainless washer. So that's what I did. And I got this like 1/2-inch spacer. And looks to me like that'll tuck up in there just perfect. I got a tiny little bit of wiggle room on either side. Doesn't quite catch on as many threads, so when I get the license plate all set up, I'm gonna pull them back out and Loctite them. And then I gotta clean everything up again because I got smudges on it. It worked. I shaved down just a hair of this lip on either side just to give a little more room, wiggle room if you will. Gotta wire up that, gotta figure out some turn signals yet. I always thought the sequential turn signal was illegal in PA on bikes because I read it on a thing at one time, but maybe it was outdated. I mean, I do prefer an actual turn signal, so, you know, they're small enough. I don't need to get run into. But I may have to just change to a sequential brake light turn signal mamma jamma. But first I'm going to wire this up, and then I'm going to stare at it and see if I could figure anything out with my vast collection of leftover turn signals. Disclaimer, it does say race track use only, you know, and they even make you like fill out this thing saying you promise not to use it on the road, but I mean, that's about as useful as making kids promise not to drink on prom night. For funsies, I pulled the low mount exhaust saver slider off and it threads into this hole up here. I think that might actually save something, possibly. I'll ride around, see if it's in my way. If it's not, I'll just order another one for the other side. Or if I order long enough bolts, I could just whack it on here. Make more sense. We'll see. Don't come at me with that attitude. I know it's super janky and only mounted the plastic, but I want to go riding. So shut up. Alright, that's it for today's edition of making things work on a Grom. I think every high mount dual is for off-road use only. So you're going to have some modifications to do with turn signals and your license plate. Easiest thing with turn signals is a sequential brake light. Only thing left to do now is go take her for a rip, have some fun. I'll leave you with some new exhaust tones. Deeper.